Welcome back to the Eyes of Texas. We want to tell you a Christmas story now, a story that actually happened back in 1927 in the north central Texas town of Cisco.
Picture this, a cold but pleasant day in December in a West Texas oil boom town. It was the 23rd of the month, 2 days before Christmas. A jolly man with a long white beard was greeting boys and girls outside the First National Bank building on Main Street. But the man in the Santa Claus costume had no intention of spreading peace and good cheer to the citizens of Cisco on that day in 1927. When he entered the bank building, he was packing a pistol. It was one of the most daring daylight robberies in this county's history, and it would turn a season of joy into a nightmare. Today, Cisco's First National Bank is in new quarters. And just down the street, the old bank building where it all took place still stands. Old pictures and sketches and markers and witnesses to the robbery keep the memories alive. He wasn't a very friendly Santa Claus.
No, he sure wasn't a very friendly Santa Claus. He wanted to get it over with. That's what he wanted to do. He was getting ready, and they had everything planned out already.
Frida Weiser was in bookkeeping at the bank the day of the holdup, and she was right in the middle of all the shooting. Leela Lloyd was shopping with her little brother. He wanted a football for Christmas.
And Santa Claus was standing by a huge clock that used to be right there in front of the bank. And I said, let's tell Santa Claus about it. So we both walked over and shook hands with Santa Claus. And Bill told him what he wanted.
Santa Claus was Marshall Ratliff, whose mother ran a cafe across the street from the bank. Robert Hill was the only robber who lived to be an old man. Lewis Davis and Henry Helms, a couple of other area men, were in on it too. The foursome walked into the bank just like it was any other day. One lady turned to Santa Claus and asked him which store he represented. His reply, "You'll know soon enough." Then he whipped out a pistol and yelled, "Stick 'em up," and all four robbers started shoving people around, grabbing money wherever they could find it, and threatening to kill anybody who didn't follow orders. Soon, word was out though, and the whole town knew that there was a robbery going on at the bank.
I was looking at one of the robbers that was back there, and he turned his face and he said, "Don't look at me." So I didn't look at him anymore.
People were grabbing all sorts of weapons, anything they could find. Knives, guns, pistols, and they were lining the streets. It was very dangerous.
Cisco policeman George Carmichael was shot down in the alley beside the bank. Police Chief Bitt Bedford was hit by 5 bullets as he covered the front. He was killed outright. The bank robbers had hostages shielding him.
He had his 2 hands right on my shoulder, and I'm going to march out there that way. And while we were marching out, Mr. Clyde got shot in the foot, and Mr. Spears got shot in the jaw. And I was they were holding me for a shield because I didn't get shot.
They walked out of the bank with $12,000 cash, $150,000 in securities, and 2 little girls who had followed St. Nick into the bank to tell him what they wanted for Christmas. Rudolph Schaefer remembers the getaway.
I heard the shooting and I thought it was, being close to Christmas that they're shooting firecrackers. So I run to the door, stood there, and I was clear sky. Here comes this car, and one of the men took a pot shot at me, and just the shoulder. Knocked out a big piece of concrete right at my back.
Confusion was rampant throughout Cisco. Guns on both sides of the law were blazing away by now. 6 people were killed in the encounter, and 8 others were injured. One of the bad guys, Lewis Davis, was severely injured at the scene and didn't make the night. Most of the other bandits were shot, but they managed to get out of town. The other injured and dead were either lawmen or citizens of the area.
I could have been killed, but I guess the good Lord had his angel watching over me.
They captured the Santa Claus bandit out here northeast of Cisco in a little oil field community of South Bend. They identified him because of a head wound. One of the officers remembered putting a bullet in his jaw during the robbery. So that left two outlaws still at large, but not for long. Robert Hill and Henry Helms were caught a day later. And on December 26th, the manhunt was over. The two little girls were saved. The money was recovered, every penny. And the nightmare was over for everyone except the ringleader. Marshal Ratliff later killed another deputy in an escape attempt. The people of the town had had enough.
The mob began forming in Eastland. And the man who was the assistant jailer tried to talk him out of going after him. Said, let the law take its course. But that was a mob, and they went in and got him, hanged him on a guy wire.
It was a Christmas to remember for the people of Cisco and Eastland County, but it was a Christmas they would have all rather forgotten.
80 years have passed since Santa Claus robbed the First National Bank of Cisco. The story would have been comic had the results not been so tragic. The memory of this fateful Christmas is kept alive by books, and now a play by Billy Smith, performed annually at the Big Country Dinner Theater in Cisco. Up next, the Texan who crafts wearable treasures. And